My name is George Blum. I'm born in Budapest. That's why my special accent, which one I never will lose. In 1941, I was 13 years old when I had my bar mitzvah. That's a Jewish tradition when the boys actually step into manhood. In that time, I thought this is just a symbolic things, and very soon, about a year and a half later, I found out this is really serious. 1 year later, when I had my bar mitzvah, 1 year later, they took away my father in 1942. Last time when I saw him, he was behind the iron bars in a school yard in a country town. And he was in summer suits, and the next week they took him to Russia, the Russian front, when obviously the temperature was minus 15 or whatever. I never saw my father again. In the same year and a year later, we got occupied by the Germans and the Nazis, the Hungarian Nazis. And we had to live in Jewish houses, which one was marked in large Jewish, the David star, which one they call the Jewish star. And everybody had to wear on the side of the shirt or coat or whatever a David star, a yellow David star. In my young age, I was always looking pictures and cowboy films. In that time, it was obviously silent films. And I saw always when they catching the cowboys catching the cows and branding them with iron bars, hot iron bars. And to me, that wearing this yellow star, it was something like branded. And I feel like branded as well. When you're going out to the street and people is look at you and telling dirty jokes or dirty remarks about your parents and whatever, that's not a good thing to enjoy it. So one day, on a Sunday afternoon, I decided I'm going to see my uncle, who was living about 1 or 2 suburbs further up from our place. And unfortunately, I caught into a police riot, a police thing, and they caught me. And there is no way in Hungary in that time, it's no way you deny it, you are a Jew. They're asking you, you are Jew, you have to say Jew, because they straight away checking on your trousers, that pulling out your trousers. And in Hungary in that time, only the Jewish man was circumcised. So there is no way you can deny it. So I was 14, they put me into 14, going to 15. They was put me into a highest security jail in Budapest, where all my jailmates was serial murderers or murderers at least. So I had good company. After that, they took us to an intern camp close to Budapest. And after that, I started my new career. I was escaping as many times as possible for Germans, for the Hungarian Nazis. I don't know how did I do it. I just didn't want to do what they wanted me to do, and because they was always frightening me to shoot me and losing my life, I had this fixed idea. I have to escape from them to save my life. So I was escaping from the Germans about 7 times. Obviously, 6 times wasn't succeeded because they always caught me and they put me into another camp or another marching brigade, which one was going toward Germany. Funny enough, I was in paper, not under my name. I was 16 years old in my paper, 18 years old in my paper. So, and I was really just turning 16, 15, 16. For 1944, I was 16 years old. Because my father, good friend, managed to get a passport for his son, who was 18 years old, a Swedish passport. And in that time, everybody was believing if you have a Swedish passport, you can save your life. Before the passport arrived, the day before, that boy was taken to Auschwitz. So the father never saw him again. And he gave me this passport, believing this will save my life. Well, saved my life, but not because of the passport. I saved my life myself. I try to tell you my story, the last escape, which one obviously had a happy ending, because otherwise I wouldn't tell you the story now. I was taken to Kőszeg, which one is a very close town to the Austrian border, Hungarian-Austrian border. There was an unused brick factory. When they put all the camp, these Jewish men over there, and we had all around 3 years or 4 years high brick wall, only one entrance, and we were under the Germans in that camp. That wasn't officially a death camp, but after the war I found out it was 2,500 Jewish men was killed in that camp. Now, first of all, I have to tell you, I always liked my food. I'm born like that. My mother said my first legal word wasn't mommy or daddy. My first word was food, food. And this camp had a very funny sort of menu. That was one soup every night, which one practically only a boiled up water. And if I was lucky, that was a salad, or lettuce was swimming around, and I can choose something. That was the food for the full day. And they gave us a little biscuit, very thin biscuit, very dark and very thin. And they said, this is our bread. And this bread for a full week. Now I was 16. A 16-year-old boy is growing, even in normal circumstances, but in any circumstances. And that food wasn't enough. So the other problem was this camp is you had to work as well. We was digging out trenches all around the countryside. They said that's against tanks, but where the tanks coming from, I never figured it out. I didn't like to work either. When you have no food, you can't think anything else, just food. Food, food, and food. So we had this, I had this little biscuit. I tried to cheat myself. I got a little crumb out every day, every night, put it under my tongue. And I thought I will dream about banquets for all the foods I have, and I will have a lovely night. That didn't work. I was just as hungry in the morning as I was at night. One day when we was coming back from the work, everybody was very much down. And I saw about 100 meters in front of me something a little thing on the ground. Mind you, in Hungary, in the country town, that's so bare, that's not even a winter lawn around, nothing, that's completely bare. You can't see anything, no fruit, nothing. And I saw these little things on the ground. I wouldn't have a clue what is it. But for the next 100 meters until we get there, I was worried. Somebody else will see it and somebody else will pick it up. Luckily enough, nobody was looking to the ground. I mean, everybody was looking for the ground, but not that way. And I got this thing out from the dirt. It was something like a flower bulb. You can't explain it, what is it. I put it in my mouth. It was terrible bitter, shocking bitter. I still don't know what was it. But I can chew something. I was chewing it. I was using my teeth. And I was top of the world. It was something, really something. Now the other problem was with this camp is beside the food. The Germans, that was the rumor, the Germans was spoiling or poisoning the waters. We had water which from a well. And this water poisoned the people, whoever was drinking it, got a certain sickness. I can't tell you the English name of it, but the result is you passing blood out and nothing else. And it must be terribly painful. These people, they was putting them into a house, they called it hospital. All day, all night, even when we was working in that far out, we heard nothing else but these people was crying and screaming. It was terrible. They didn't have any painkiller or anything which was shortening their life or whatever. That was terrible to listening. Sometimes I tell you, even now, I wake up at night and I can hear their voices. It's unbelievable. Now the problem was this, from this camp, I wanted to escape, but it wasn't so easy. The Germans figured it out. Its people is escaping easy, but they put a Jewish guy on every 30 men as a Jewish brigade, and he was responsible for the 30 men. And the German captain or whoever was the head of this camp told us, if anybody is missing from that 30, from that brigade, this Jewish guy will be shot as well. So there is no way to escape. I mean, I wouldn't escape to know somebody else will get killed because I was escaped. I couldn't do that. But one night, there was a roll-up, and I was told us they caught 13 Jewish guy who was escaped a day or 2 days or a week before from the camp. They caught them, and the next morning, 6 o'clock, will be a parade, and they will be shot in the parade ground, including the guys who was let them escape. So the guys who was the head of these brigades, and it was one of our brigade head as well. So I said, this is the only one day which one I can escape. This guy will be shot anyway if I'm staying there or if I'm escaping. So in that night I have to escape. I had my friend sleeping next to me, who was just about the same age as me, Tom. And we decided, both of us, we are escaping. Now that's easy to say, but it's very hard to even start. Because if you, they told us, if you going close to this brick wall, just closer than 6 meters, they shoot us before asking what we was doing there. But in that night, it was pouring rain, terrible dark and pouring rain. You couldn't see anything. We couldn't see even our head of our nose, and we Jewish people was blessed with a bit bigger one than other people. But we couldn't see even that. So we managed to get next to the wall, next to the gate, actually, behind the gate. That was one German sentry who was watching the gate. And he was going every 5 minutes or so for one side of the corner outside on the camp. We was watching it, how many steps he's doing. He was doing 12 steps to that way. He's coming back 12 steps, standing a minute on the gate, and was going to the other side, to the other corner, 12 steps to the other side, coming back 12 steps. We was standing behind that wall about 2-3 hours, watching what he's doing. He's really doing every day, every time, the 12 step over there, back again, the 12 step over there. And we was convinced he's doing it because the German is very precise. He's doing always the same thing, the same system. One time when he was started to go that way, he was running out from the camp. We was running like an Olympic runner. I never knew I can run that far and that fast. And we was just running without even taking any breath. It was all right for a while, but then it was pouring rain. You couldn't see a thing. It was so dark. I was scout when I was young, and they taught me how to read the stars. But wasn't any stars, and I was swearing, what's happening? I most probably missed that time when they taught us how to read when it's no stars on the sky. So we was running, and then suddenly we got to the field where all these trenches was cut. It was falling into the trenches. It was already half water on the bottom, like a little river. That's not a problem, but when you suddenly fell in something, you're losing your orientation. You don't know where did you get in, this side is out or this side is out, which one you should follow. So we had no idea. We were just crowd out on one side, was running again, back again to another one. Like I feel like we are in a country town, in an entertaining parlor. They were shooting the ducks down, and it was always falling down. Fall down again to the next trench. We wouldn't have the clue where we was coming out. And this time I was always laughing in my life. I like to see the life in a humorous way, and I believe this was saving my life generally. I had a joke in my mind. I was running in, out somewhere, and I remembered a turtle and a snail decided they're going to change places. So they're going together. One day they managed about 1.5 meters. They got to the end of the day. The little snail said, "Thanks God we got that far." The turtle said, "Thanks God we got only that far." So the next day they were going again, another meter or so. At night the little snail said, "Thanks God we got that far." And the turtle said, "Thanks God We got only that far. So the little snail said, why are you always saying, thanks God, we got only that far? And the turtle said, because we're going to the wrong way. And I believed we're going to the wrong way, but we was running, and we couldn't stop. But when we got to the point when we completely puffed out, we couldn't move anymore, we found a high stake somewhere nowhere, God knows where we was, and we moved into the haystack to save us against that water which was still pouring down. And next morning, when the little light started to come up, we was looking out, and the camp gate was about 100 meters in front of us. So you believe it, we nearly get a heart attack. It was terrible. All night we was going around, running around that camp. Only luck was this trench was just behind us. We found it behind us, so we dropped into that trench and was moving very fast. And we got close to the next village and get away from that camp. Now the next thing was to get somewhere where is a railway station. It was far out from Budapest. We want to go back to Budapest. You see, the Germans had a sort of a psychological warfare against the Jewish people. They put the family always together. They took the family to the camps. They took the family, the father, the mother, the kids, all together. And because of that, nobody wanted to escape. I mean, if I would have my father or my mother or my little brother with me, I wouldn't escape either. And the father didn't want to leave the family, the mother didn't want to leave the family, so everybody stick together, and unfortunately everybody died together. But with me, I was lucky. My father, as you know, wasn't with me anymore. I mean, I didn't know where was he in that time. My mother and my little brother, who was 1.5 years old in that time, was hiding in Budapest in a cellar under a hospital. So I know that my family is there in Budapest. And as a 14, 15, 16 years old boy, I was always wanted to go back to my family, to see my family. That was always my aim. Go back, go back, go back. So I didn't have any question where I'm going to. I'm going back to Budapest. We go to the next railway station. That was Szombathely. We did every effort to get some food. We both I was so hungry, I just hardly could walk anymore, especially after that exercise at night. But we looked terrible. This haze was going all around our place, and the dirt from this haystack. So we was practically half Aboriginal, half white. It was shocking, and everything everywhere, these little haystacks. Even somebody was just looking at us. That's it, finished straight away into the next police station or front of the next firing squad. It's obvious this is escaping, these people escaping. So we did in such a way, Tom was standing on the other side of the railway station, I was standing in one side. I managed to get the railway ticket because I have a little coat which one has got a secret lining. The lining was Hungarian money, paper money. It was all everywhere. I had paper money. I was always ready to escape and get something for my money. So I managed to get the railway ticket. He was standing over there. I was standing this way, and we had a certain sign language to notify each other which carriage we will go up. It was very hard because everybody can be a policeman. can be a secret policeman, they can take us. In the meantime, I managed to get about 1 kilo of little apples. We shared it and eat everything, the core and the seed, everything. We were so hungry, we nearly eat the paper bag as well. So I was standing on that platform, and just in front of me, the train was coming in, just in front of me, the train stopped. The door is opened, and German soldiers was coming down. The whole German army is coming down. I was signed to Tom, we get into this carriage. Because we thought where the German soldiers been, there must be food. They must have left some food over there. So we went up to this empty carriage and started to search everywhere. But the Germans is very, very careful people. They clean everything. They didn't left anything, not even a morse, nothing. But we find 2 little bottles. They look like the beer bottle here. Even the top was like the beer bottle. We didn't know what is it. We didn't know. We can't read German. But I thought must be some energy drink or whatever. If that was good for the Germans, that's good for us as well. So we managed to open it. Both of us had a big slug out of that bottles. After that, the problem was in this wagon had only 1 toilet. And we was fighting for 1 toilet because that bottle contained gun cleaning oil. And it must be very good if you have a full stomach. But because we had nothing in our stomach, just a few apples, we had terrible time after that to on the toilet and all this problem. Anyway, we managed to get back to Budapest, and I got shelter. A friend of my father, who had a Red Cross kitchen, and we was going there and hiding there until the 8th of January, when our head of the kitchen was going out on the street and I was running back. Boys, girls and boys, because we have girls as well. On the corner is a Russian soldier. So on the 8th of January, we was liberated. That's my story on the nutshell. Thank you very much for listening.